Now the series that has the likelihood of being a 7-game series, that would be Miami against Toronto, the six, just hot as ever right now. Um, I looked at this series a couple times. Salute to Miami for coming back down 3-2 to Charlotte, got themselves in the hole. Dwayne Wade coming up big in Game 6. Goran Dragic coming up really big in Game 7. Also, salute to Toronto. That wasn't easy because Paul George in that series with Indiana was probably the best player on the court. And Toronto had a lot of pressure, almost blowing that lead in the fourth quarter to Indiana. It seemed like they were going to blow it again. You had pretty much the whole city exhausted and, in a sigh of relief after they held on and finally closed out business and got out of the first round. For the first time since, 2002. So, I think it's big, definitely big for the city, and it's a really good series. It's for me, Miami's biggest flaw is going to be not looking forward to that series that we all expect with Cleveland. That's going to be a classic. LeBron playing against Miami in a 7-game series. We all know that's going to be a classic. We understand why that would be a classic series. For me, it's like D. Wade and company not overlooking Toronto because they're a really good team. Even though Toronto's the 2 seed, and they have home court, which would I guess theoretically give them the advantage and put them as the team that should win this series. If you look on paper, Miami just has so much talent going out and getting a Joe Johnson at the deadline, finally getting Luol Deng healthy, and also Chris Bosh, who we've heard hasn't been ruled out for the series and has been practicing at full speed. If they can get him back, oh my gosh, and if he can just give you 15, 20 minutes, man, that's huge. Man, that's huge. Josh Richardson is coming along. It's my fellow Tennessee alum. What he's able to do off the bench, being a backup point guard for Goran Dragic, he'll be big. Probably get some minutes at Kyle Lowry, maybe in a couple minutes at DeRozan. He'll be big in this series. He's so long and he has so much length at 6'5", and he's able to shoot the ball as well. Pretty much having a better year than Justice Winslow, who you still have at your disposal. There's just so many weapons on this Miami Heat team. I have yet to bring up Dwayne Wade, who we obviously know what we're getting out of him. When he's healthy, still can make tough shot after tough shot, still clutch. We seen that in Game 6 against Charlotte. Goran Dragic's balling now. Hassan Whiteside, if his head is in the game, that is maybe one of the best big men in the NBA. He's a restricted free agent this summer, or maybe unrestricted. I'm not sure. He's a free agent this summer. Whoever gets their hands on him is in for a player. Hopefully Miami can resign him. If his head is in the game, Hassan Whiteside can affect the game on the defensive end of the court and offensive end of the court. We understand that, Andrew Bynum and Hassan Whiteside, those comparisons are real, and that's who I compare him to. Looking at Toronto and looking at DeMar Carroll and what he's able to do for the team, going out and signing him, giving him big bucks, and him delivering. Doing a number on Paul George, frustrating Paul George a lot of that series. That's what they signed him for. That's exactly what they signed him for, and they got out of the first round, so it was worth the sign. I'll go Game 1 in Toronto. I'll go Miami takes Game 1. Toronto takes Game 2, rebounds. I'll even give Toronto Game 3 as well. Then give me Miami Game 4. Tied at 2, heading back to Toronto. This is when I believe Miami takes control of the series. At this point, we need veterans, leadership. Miami has more of that. Joe Johnson is big in Game 5. I believe Joe Johnson takes over in Game 5. And we close this thing out in Miami in 6. So this one doesn't go 7. Has the possibilities of going 7, but Miami gets done with Toronto in 6. They don't overlook this Toronto team. It's a really good team. Really good team, and just still needing some, I think, a little more veteran leadership. Then they'll be on their way. We'll see. It'll be an interesting offseason if they can keep DeMar DeRozan. A lot of people have him LA bound. We'll see if they can keep that backcourt together. But for this series, I believe Miami. I believe Joe Johnson is huge in this series. Joe Johnson and Hassan Whiteside are big in this series. And I think Miami take care of business. And we see our Miami-Cleveland showdown. And those are your predictions for the second round of the NBA playoffs, a la the Elite Eight. And we'll see how this goes. I got Cleveland, Miami in the Eastern Conference. And for the Western Conference, I have Golden State and I have San Antonio. And that's 2 really tasty matchups that we can all look forward to. The playoffs hasn't been that exciting so far. But if we get those two matchups in the finals, conference finals, we're in for two treats. And those are my predictions. Hey, I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to watch my interview, my performance, or maybe it was a feature story. Now, right now, you can either subscribe to my channel or you can watch other performances. Thank you for taking the time out. It's MrTeleferro.com. A way to talk to everybody, like to let them know that I'm okay, or I'm this, I'm that. Like, it's saying hi to the world, for real, for real. Like, I'm not lying, I'm not playing, like, because you know how many,